cycle, and we are addressing the issue of juvenile recidivism. Recidivism refers to a criminal's tendency to relapse into criminal behavior after being convicted for a prior crime. It is measured by criminal acts that result in rearrest. This is a huge problem for Fresno County. Fresno County's juvenile recidivism rate is 71.3%, meaning that most juvenile offenders will be rearrested for another crime after being convicted for one already. It costs a lot of money to house juveniles in detention facilities each year. Estimates say that it's about $148,000 every year per person. This is exactly the reason why we would like to address this issue. As young people who live in Fresno, we would wish to be involved in the betterment of our Fresno community. We would also like to point out that many, if not all of these offenders are school-aged and should rightfully belong in school and not be a part of the cycle of criminal reoffending. Now I'd like to take this over to my colleague, Nikita Rand, who's going to explain why recidivism occurs.
When our group began researching the topic of juvenile recidivism, we identified 4 major causes that contribute, and those causes we found to be drug addiction, lack of education, unemployment, and lack of family support. Throughout this project, we conducted multiple interviews with representatives from the Fresno Unified School District, the Fresno County Drug Court, and Bitwise Industries. Throughout these interviews, we identified problems associated with juvenile recidivism. We identified possible solutions, and finally, with Bitwise, we proposed our idea of a mobile app. And following this proposal, our idea became our action plan. We actually learned from Bitwise that our idea of a mobile app is completely feasible and possible to create to help with this issue in our community. And this app is meant to be a self-help style app, companion app available 24/7 on anyone's smartphone to help the individual stay on track. And oftentimes this app would be available even when other resources are not available. Us young people, we always have our smartphones with us. So what better way to efficiently and conveniently reach us than through a smartphone app? And successful self-help style apps already exist. Self-help apps with dealing with weight loss or mental health. So we figured, why not juvenile recidivism? And we realized that lower income individuals may not have the access to these devices as much as, let's say, other people could. So through our process of applying for a grant, we have looked into sort of allocating possible funds to provide those devices to those people in need so they can still take advantage of this app.
We wanted to implement certain features we know are going to help the users in a unique and effective way. One of these features is GPS tracking for danger zones. The user will input certain locations where they used to buy drugs or commit any criminal activity, and once they get close to those locations, the app will send them a message asking them if they need to talk to their sponsor, if they need help, things like that. As you can see here, this is a prototype of what the menu is going to look like. Each section comes with their own set of custom messages, videos, quotes, etc. For example, in the local opportunity section, the user will be connected with local job fairs, Narcotics Anonymous meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and community events. Another important element we took into consideration is privacy. The app will require the user to have a username and password so that their information is guaranteed to stay private. Finally, my colleague Samantha will conclude our presentation.
Thank you, Tegan. Now, not only is this application a great idea in theory, but it's also practical and doable as well. During our interviews with Bitwise Industries, we were given a cost estimate for creating the application, which included upfront costs of up to $75,000 and continued maintenance costs of $200 to $300 per month. Now, while these may seem like high numbers, when they're compared to the annual cost of $148,000 for incarcerating a single juvenile, creating this app becomes the obvious option that will be far less costly in the long run. And there are a multitude of funding opportunities available. The first source of funding that we have begun pursuing is applying for grants. There are a number of grants that focus specifically on reducing juvenile recidivism. In addition, we plan to approach local government organizations who may have an interest in assisting with some of the startup costs of the application, including the Fresno County Office of Education, the Probation Office, and the Juvenile Justice Department. And finally, once the app is up and running, we will approach businesses and incorporate advertisements into the application, which will cover much of the continued maintenance costs. Now, I'd like to ask the audience a question. How many of you typically have access to a smartphone, whether at home or on your person, the majority of the time? And just raise your hand. Okay, keep your hands up and look around the room. That's most, if not all of us. You see, this little piece of technology is such a fundamental part of our modern society, and nearly every person in our community has access to one. When an individual is struggling with backsliding into criminal behavior at, say, 3 o'clock in the morning, they won't have access to a sponsor or a counselor, but what they will have is their smartphone. Our app will provide individuals with 24/7 access to rehabilitation techniques at the push of a button. If you assist us in funding this innovative idea of virtual rehabilitation, you will be a part of launching the process of rehab into the modern age for young and old generations alike. With this application, we have the unique opportunity to truly make a difference by helping troubled youth get their lives back on track, starting here in the Fresno community, but eventually spreading to the United States and even the world. Help us make a positive impact in our community. Together we can break the cycle. Thank you.